Last video I was talking about dizziness, and 2 days ago, bad one hit me. Completely lost the balance. I had to stay in bed, and all day long, I was flat sleeping. Second day, I made a phone call to my hospital where I still have to go for checkup after my motorbike accident in 2021. And I couldn't talk to the doctor, but the nurse speak to the doctor for me. And well, the hospital takes 50 minutes to get there, and I have no choice but to rest. And also he told me it's not related to my accident. However, for me, always through I'm having small or big dizziness, and I want to get rid of it, and I try to find a solution. Anyways, here I want to talk about how important communication is. In humans' relationship, communication is the most difficult thing. We have a words to speak to each other. However, so many misunderstandings, so many difficulties. And I'm very bad example of communication. And I tell you why I'm so bad at it. First 16 years of my life, I moved 11 times. The first move happened when I was in kindergarten. And I had to say goodbye to my friends and familiar places where I used to live. And that was heartbreaking. And the second move, I decided not to be attached to people or place. And I become okay to play with by myself. And I was not good at talking. But if I say 1-2 words, my sister, who was very charismatic and very good at communication, she was above her age, and she understood me. And how she communicated with me make me very comfortable that someone who really understands me. And that is natural for me. And because my focus on only her as my friend in these circumstances, and I didn't have to explain many things because she understands everything so easily. At her junior high school in Tokyo, she had IQ test. She was high above average and number one in the school. My mother was asked to go to the junior high school all of a sudden. She didn't know what for, and she came back with happy face that my sister's result was really good. But back then, you are not allowed to tell what was the score. But anyways, I can understand she has such high score because she was so intelligent. When I turned 16, my family had to move to Australia. When we went there, we started to have different friends, and I started to have my own group, and she had hers. And slowly I started to communicate a little bit, but back of my mind I knew I had to go back to Japan one day. However, my parents decided after 5 years, they left me behind and went back to Japan. And at that time, I slowly started to open up to people. But I studied really late for these communications. However, I always had this feeling that one day I had to go back to Japan. And I was sick and tired of changing the location. And I wanted to stay in one place and Brisbane, Australia was the first place I lived in the same city for 10 years in my life. And I had a memory of my family living together for the last place. My brother went to the south of Japan for university, and my other family was in Tokyo, and I'm by myself in Australia. I thought I would be staying, however, it was very difficult for me to gain the visa, so I decided to come back to Japan to have my life here. Through this communication with people, I always hold myself in some ways because I can't be attached. And 1988 was a year, still we didn't have the mobile phone. Only started to happening in 1990s. And I had one when I was in Australia at the very end. But there was not internet like today. Although through this time, my Australian friends, they kept in touch with me, and I'm very fortunate. There was no technology to communicate continuously. However, my friends in Australia, they are so great, they kept in touch, and even I haven't been talking to each other for some time, we always reconnected, and I'm very thankful to them. Well, that's it for today. I see you tomorrow.